That notification pops up, an invitation, and instantly your heart starts to race. Your mind isn't figuring out what to wear. It's scrambling for a believable excuse to say no. If that feeling is familiar, you're in the right place. Because that immediate sense of dread isn't just you being antisocial. There's a lot of psychology at play. We're going to break down exactly what's happening in your brain, from the clinical definition of social anxiety to the quiet exhaustion of an introvert. Have you ever felt a wave of relief wash over you the moment you hit send on that "sorry, I can't make it" text? You're free. The pressure is off. But then, a few hours later, as you see pictures from the event pop up online, a different feeling creeps in. Guilt, loneliness, the frustrating sense that you're missing out on your own life. This cycle is incredibly common, yet widely misunderstood. Society often slaps a simple label on it: antisocial. But the truth is far more nuanced. Avoiding social events isn't a simple character flaw. It's often a protective measure your brain deploys when it perceives a threat. That threat might be emotional, psychological, or even purely energetic. Untangling the reasons behind this avoidance is the first step toward regaining control and making social choices that feel authentic to you, rather than choices dictated by fear or fatigue. Together, we'll explore the core of social avoidance. We'll look at that initial feeling of dread, examine the powerful psychological forces at play, and most importantly, offer some clarity on how to navigate these feelings. Our goal is to validate your experience and empower you with understanding. Because you're not broken, and you are certainly not alone. Let's look closer at the moment of avoidance itself. It's rarely a calm, rational decision. It's a visceral, full-body experience. When the invitation arrives, your sympathetic nervous system might kick into high gear before your conscious mind can even process the details. This is your body's ancient fight or flight response. Your heart rate might increase, your palms might get sweaty, and your stomach might feel like it's tied in knots. The mental experience is just as intense. Your mind starts a rapid-fire calculation where the costs feel astronomically high. You're not just thinking, "I don't feel like going." You're thinking, "What if I say the wrong thing? What if nobody talks to me? What if they can tell I'm nervous?" This flood of negative automatic thoughts can feel overwhelming, often centered on the fear of being criticized, judged, or negatively evaluated by others. This fear is a powerful driver of the anxiety that leads to avoidance. So, you come up with an excuse. "I have a prior commitment." "I'm not feeling well." "I have to work early." Each of these is a safety behavior, a strategy to prevent the distress you anticipate. The immediate result is relief, a profound sense of having dodged a bullet. This relief is a powerful form of negative reinforcement. By avoiding the situation, you remove the anxiety, and your brain learns, "See? Avoiding parties keeps us safe." However, this short-term relief comes at a steep long-term cost. Each time you avoid a social situation, you reinforce the belief that you were right to be afraid. You miss the chance to gather evidence to the contrary, the chance to learn that even if you're a little awkward, people might still like you, or that your anxiety can subside if you stick it out. This creates a self-perpetuating cycle. The more you avoid, the more you fear, and the more you feel the need to avoid in the future. This pattern can also lead to a gradual erosion of your social skills. Like any muscle, social abilities need practice. When you consistently opt out, you miss chances to practice starting conversations, reading social cues, and navigating group dynamics. This can lead to a genuine social skills deficit, which then provides a new, very real reason to feel anxious. You may start to feel that you genuinely don't know how to act in these situations, which only reinforces your decision to stay home. This isn't just about missing one party. It's a pattern that can lead to increased isolation and a diminished quality of life. The internal conflict between wanting to connect and the overpowering urge to retreat is a painful place to be. Now that we understand the cycle of avoidance, the big question is, why does this happen? Is it a personality trait or a mental health condition? The answer is complex, because several different things can lead to the same behavior. The most common and often confused are social anxiety disorder and introversion, but they are not the same thing. Social anxiety disorder or social phobia is not just being shy. It's a clinical mental health condition marked by an intense, persistent fear of social situations. This fear isn't about the interaction itself, but about the potential for scrutiny and negative judgment from others. For someone with SAD, a social gathering isn't a gathering of people, it's a gathering of judges. The core of social anxiety is a deep-seated fear of negative evaluation. A person with SAD lives with a constant dread of embarrassing themselves, being humiliated, or showing visible signs of anxiety, like blushing or trembling. This leads to a stream of negative thoughts like, "Everyone thinks I'm boring," or "I'm going to say something stupid and they'll laugh at me." These thoughts feel like absolute certainties. A 2023 study published in PNAS found that adults with more severe social anxiety symptoms showed a greater negativity bias when recalling memories of social feedback. In other words, they tend to remember feedback as being more negative than it actually was. This mental distress is accompanied by very real physical symptoms. When faced with a social trigger, a person with SAD can experience heart palpitations, shortness of breath, and dizziness. These sensations can be so intense, they can feel like a panic attack, creating a feedback loop where the fear of the physical symptoms becomes another source of anxiety. The defining feature of SAD is how much it impairs your life. People with the disorder will go to great lengths to avoid feared situations, like turning down promotions, avoiding dating, or missing important family events. When avoidance isn't possible, they endure the situation with intense distress or rely on safety behaviors, like staying glued to their phone or drinking to numb their nerves. It's important to understand that someone with SAD doesn't necessarily want to be alone. They may deeply crave connection, but feel trapped by their fear. Their avoidance is rooted in self-protection, not a preference for solitude. A 2024 study highlighted the serious consequences of this, finding that social anxiety symptoms in adolescents were linked to an increase in suicidal thoughts and depressive symptoms 2 years later. This shows that SAD is not a personality quirk, but a serious condition that often requires professional support. Now, let's pivot to a completely different concept: introversion. The most critical distinction is this: social anxiety is rooted in fear, while introversion is rooted in energy. Introversion is not a disorder, it is a fundamental personality trait. The defining characteristic of an introvert is how they recharge their psychological batteries. Extroverts gain energy from social interaction. Being in a crowd and meeting new people feels stimulating to them. Introverts, on the other hand, expend energy in social situations and need solitude to replenish it. After a party, an introvert often feels drained and overstimulated, needing quiet time to recharge. This isn't a sign of depression or fear. It's a biological necessity, like sleep. An introvert doesn't necessarily dread social events. They might even look forward to them. However, they are very aware of their social battery. They know a loud party will drain their energy much faster than a quiet dinner with close friends. Their brain processes social information more deeply, which requires more mental energy. So, when an introvert declines an invitation, their internal thought process is very different from someone with social anxiety. It's not, "I'm afraid of what they'll think of me." It's more like, "I've had a long week and I don't have the social energy for that tonight. I need to recharge." Their decision is based on energy management, not fear management. They are choosing alone time because it is genuinely restorative, not because they are escaping a threat. It's a common myth that introverts dislike people. Many have strong social skills and value deep connections. They just often prefer meaningful one-on-one conversations over small talk in loud, crowded settings. They can find the motivation to attend an event that is important to them, even if it's draining. Someone with social anxiety, however, might cancel plans they genuinely want to attend because the fear is just too great. Of course, it is possible to be both an introvert and have social anxiety. In this case, a person might need to be alone to recharge their energy, introversion, and experience intense fear of judgment in social situations, social anxiety. Telling the two apart is key because it helps you identify what you need: a quiet night in to recharge or a strategy to cope with overwhelming fear. The answer determines the right path forward. Beyond social anxiety and introversion, other factors can also lead to social avoidance. First is shyness. Shyness can be thought of as a milder, non-clinical form of social anxiety. A shy person might feel uncomfortable around new people, but this feeling is typically less persistent and debilitating than in SAD. They might feel self-conscious, but they don't usually experience the intense dread that defines the disorder. Second, there can be a genuine social skills deficit. Some people avoid social interaction because they feel they lack the tools to succeed. They may struggle with starting conversations, making eye contact, or understanding non-verbal cues. This lack of confidence can lead to frustration, making avoidance seem like the easiest option. Third, there's the issue of sensory overload. For some people, especially those who are highly sensitive or on the neurodivergent spectrum, the environment itself is the problem. Loud music, flashing lights, and overlapping conversations can be overwhelming. In this case, the avoidance isn't about the people. It's about escaping an environment that is causing genuine discomfort. Finally, there's a broader pattern called emotional avoidance. This is a tendency to avoid any uncomfortable thoughts or feelings, not just social ones. For these individuals, social events might trigger feelings of inadequacy or boredom, and their avoidance is a way to sidestep these unpleasant internal states. Understanding these different drivers is incredibly empowering. It allows you to move away from the unhelpful label of antisocial and toward a more precise understanding of your own internal world. If any of this is resonating with you, the fear of judgment, the social battery, the feeling of being overwhelmed, take a moment to subscribe. We regularly post new videos on the psychology of everyday life, designed to give you clarity and tools for self-understanding. And let us know in the comments which of these reasons feels most familiar to you. Sharing your experience not only helps you process it, but it also shows others they are not alone. Understanding the why behind your social avoidance is the first step. Now, let's talk about what to do next. The right approach depends entirely on the root cause. A strategy for managing introversion won't be effective for clinical social anxiety, and vice versa. If your avoidance is driven by an intense fear of negative judgment, the goal is to systematically dismantle that fear. The gold standard treatment for social anxiety disorder is cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. CBT is a skills-based therapy that works on a simple principle. Your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are all connected. By changing your thought patterns and behaviors, you can change how you feel. CBT for social anxiety usually involves two main parts. The first is cognitive restructuring. This is where you learn to identify and challenge your negative automatic thoughts, like, "Everyone can see I'm sweating and thinks I'm weird." You learn to examine the evidence for and against these thoughts, treating them as hypotheses to be tested, not as facts. You then reframe them into more realistic alternatives, like, "I might be anxious, but it's unlikely anyone is paying that much attention. And even if they notice, it doesn't mean they're judging me harshly." The second component is exposure therapy. This is the behavioral part, and it's essential. It involves gradually and systematically facing the social situations you fear, step by step. You might start with something small, like making eye contact with a cashier, and work your way up to attending a party. Each time you face a fear without resorting to avoidance, you provide your brain with powerful new evidence that you can handle it, and that your catastrophic predictions didn't come true. This process desensitizes you to the fear over time. Other therapies like acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, are also effective. It encourages you to accept your anxious feelings rather than fighting them, while still committing to actions that align with your values. In some cases, medication like SSRIs may be prescribed to help manage severe symptoms, usually along with therapy. If you identify as an introvert, the goal is not to fix yourself or become an extrovert. The goal is to honor your natural energy patterns and build a social life that works for you. This is all about strategic energy management. First, know your limits and plan accordingly. Pay attention to your body's signals. Do you feel a mental fog or restlessness setting in? Those are signs your social battery is low. Give yourself permission to leave an event when you've hit your limit without guilt. It's perfectly okay to say, "It was so great to see everyone, but I need to head out." Second, be proactive with your social calendar. Avoid booking too many social events in a row. If you have a big wedding on Saturday, keep your Friday and Sunday low-key to prepare and recover. Schedule alone time in your calendar, just like any other important appointment. Third, choose your social settings wisely. You have control over your social life. If large parties drain you, focus on alternatives. Suggest a small group dinner, a one-on-one coffee date, or a walk in the park. These structured settings often feel less draining because the focus is on a shared activity rather than forced small talk. Finally, communicate your needs. Let close friends and family know that you're an introvert and that your need for alone time isn't a rejection of them. A simple explanation like, "As an introvert, I need some quiet time to recharge, but I'd love to see you next week for a calmer get-together," can go a long way. Regardless of the root cause, some strategies are universally helpful. Practicing mindfulness and relaxation techniques like deep breathing can help manage anxiety in the moment and calm your nervous system when you feel overwhelmed. Building social skills can also boost confidence for anyone feeling a bit rusty. You can practice by setting small, achievable goals, like asking one person an open-ended question at your next gathering. Ultimately, the most powerful tool is self-compassion. Whether you're dealing with a clinical disorder or an innate personality trait, your pattern of avoidance likely developed to protect yourself. It isn't a sign of weakness. By understanding its roots and approaching yourself with curiosity and kindness instead of judgment, you can begin to loosen its grip and start making choices that lead to a richer, more connected life on your own terms. The next time an invitation appears on your screen and your heart begins to pound, take a breath. Instead of immediately looking for an excuse, ask yourself, what is this feeling really about? Is it a fear of judgment, a signal that your social battery is empty, or something else entirely? Differentiating between the fear of social anxiety and the fatigue of introversion is the key to a healthier relationship with your social life. One requires courage and tools to challenge deep-seated fears. The other requires wisdom and self-respect to honor your natural energy limits. Both are valid. Your experience isn't a simple case of being antisocial. It's a complex and deeply human response. By understanding the psychology behind your desire to avoid social events, you move from a place of guilt and confusion to one of empowerment and clarity. You can stop fighting against your nature and start working with it, building a social life that feels not like a threat, but like an authentic expression of who you are.